Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing as the Knicks take their first win in Vegas Summer League 26, 97-93 over the Brooklyn Nets, missing a couple of their key rookies. But this one was all about redemption, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler Kolek came to play and dominated this performance tonight. Marjon Beauchamp had his best game of Summer League. But some more Knicks continue to impress that came in on the fringes. Mohamed Diawara, man, flashed some playmaking and some scoring abilities as well. And Ariel Hukporti continues to be solid. I think the most consistent Knick of Summer League in his minutes, but played limited minutes tonight because they did spread the minutes around. No Pacome Dardier and no Kevin McCullough. We'll talk about those guys moving forward. Those guys are sat out with some various injuries. But the Knicks, man, look solid today. And Tyler Kolek, really pleased, to see him bounce back. Welcome into the post-game live with CT. We're live on X and YouTube as well, so give us a follow on X, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to take a look at all the highlights as well on the larger screen, and I shout out the chat, and we're all going to keep the Knicks streets buzzing tonight, guys. I mean, obviously it's a good story to see players that have struggled bounce back. Tyler Kolek has, really had two poor performances, but today, man, he was dominant. And we're going to bring up the box score and then take a look at the highlights. 25 points for TKO. Much better. Not as efficient as you like to see, but definitely from three-point land. Was raining threes, 5 of 12 from downtown. And Beauchamp finished with 25 points as well, as the Knicks, hit their highest score of Summer League, 97-93. Ariel Hukporti, 2 of 3 from the field, flashed some nice passes, 5 rebounds, and got a block as well. So that's 8 stocks for Ariel Hukporti in 3 games. He only played 13 minutes tonight, so hopefully there was nothing major. I didn't see anything was an issue, but I do think they wanted a bigger look at some more other guys like Anton Watson. Naji, I thought, had some moments as well. But talk about moments, man. Mohamed Diawara played his most minutes, 26. Finished 3 of 8. He missed all 4 of his threes, but stuffed the stat sheet with a steal, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, and 7 points. And look, Mohamed Diawara, man, I think he's really solidifying a two-way spot. A guy who wasn't, was intriguing in terms of the film that we saw in France, but not a guy that we expected to come in and look this ready to contribute. I think his size, his athleticism, and his ball handling abilities with the left hand is really what's standing out, for Mohamed Diawara. We've got Buzzer Beater, Johnny in the house, Russell, Yuri, Ark, and everyone coming through. What's the biggest story? We've got to start with Tyler Kolek, and then we'll dive into the Mohamed Diawara film, man. But man, Tyler Kolek made some great plays. I mean, this one here, man, one of the plays of the game, man, just walked into a 3 with confidence. But Ariel Hukporti, man, set a bone-crunching screen with this one, man. I think Ariel Hukporti's ready for those backup minutes. So that's not a sweeping conclusion. We already knew that based on what we've seen. Contributed last season, but it's definitely looked consistent in Summer League in his minutes, man. Freed up TKO for the step-in 3. And by then, man, Kolek had 20, and he was feeling it. He was absolutely feeling it at that point. One of the highlights for Diawara, slashing to the basket baseline, looks a lot more confident putting the ball on the floor and finishing in traffic. You see his length and his size. Man, you can finish over the big center there, Tim, on the Nets, Timmy. And basically, Diawara is a guy that's looked more confident ball handling. The second half, they put him on the ball a lot more, and we got to see a lot of great results setting up teammates. He set up Naji for a nice and one as well. But I mean, thoroughly impressed with Diawara, man. If I'm giving out a grade for Summer League, he's got to be, around the B plus for what we've seen. And we've got two more games. Looks like Pacome Dardier and Kevin McCullough might sit out. McCullough has the nasal contusion, was wearing the mask in the last game, and Pacome Dardier has a big toe sprain, and he's in a walking boot as well. So I wouldn't risk anything with those guys. I would sit those guys out. Well, hopefully we get to see a little bit more McCullough. But if Dardier has the toe sprain, then I would sit him out. But here's one of Tyler Kolek's great dimes, found Diawara for the alley-oop. And Diawara looks like he can guard 1 through 5, man, with his wingspan. Just an incredible, specimen physically with his wingspan and defense, but shows to be a great athlete as well. Shades of Pascal Siakam. Shades of even Carmelo Anthony, man, in the mid-range, as I'm going to pull that up next. But we're going to hit on a little bit of each Nick. I thought this is a great read from Ariel Huckporty. Continues to flash what people saw last year in this short role. Doesn't look sped up. Doesn't look like, he's going to, be out of place or get rushed in these situations. Took his time, surveyed the floor in this one, and found the open J for the 3 for Marjon Beauchamp. So I like what I saw from Huckporty with the reading of the floor. Little overzealous sometimes, but, he's still young, 23, and still growing. But the first half was all about Tyler Kolek, man. These are some of the first half highlights from TKO. Mainly 3-point ball, but he was able to get downhill a lot easier. He looked a lot more strong with the basketball, a lot more assured. Was getting off the ball a lot quicker as well. So I think Kolek watched a lot of film. We know he has the IQ. He made a couple of smart adjustments, which is what you want to see at this level. At the next level, when players have down performances, there's film to watch and there is adjustments that need to be made. But I thought Tyler Kolek was able to get into the paint a lot more. As I said at the top of the show, guys, the Brooklyn Nets had no Yegor Demon, no Tyson Etienne, no Dwight Powell, Drake Powell, and Danny Wolf as well. So the Nets were missing some key guys, but it is what it is. You needed to see another bounce back performance from some of the Knicks that struggled, and you got to see that with Kolek, with Beauchamp. You got to see continued flashes from Mohamed Diawara, and you got to see continued consistency from Ariel Huckporty as well, with Pacome Dardier and McCullough missing tonight. I thought Dink Pate had some moments as well, probably his best game, in my opinion. We got Russell asking, how tall is Diawara? He projects to be 6'9", fam. And we can't leave out Beauchamp. He struggled, but he had an amazing second half, 25 points. Showed his experience. I think against the Nets team that was pretty poor defensively, but the Knicks were moving the ball around, getting into the paint a lot easier, getting that separation. But yeah, Russell, man, with Diawara's wingspan and his height, 7'4" wingspan, as we see a great read from Beauchamp, finding Luka Shuka for the big time cut baseline and the throwdown finish, man. There's been some highlight plays all over Summer League. Our Knicks have given us a couple tonight. Big time jams yesterday, man, with Johnny Furphy going viral. But tonight, man, it was all about Tyler Kolek. Tyler, the creator, was back, scoring the basketball, though, and surveying the floor. I mentioned Diawara with the jab step. Man, this was something that I didn't expect. Look at that. Pivot, jab step, Carmelo Anthony in the mid-range. No hyperbole there, man. But look, in all honesty, I think Diawara is still a project, work in progress. But, he's shown me that he is worth a two-way spot, man. And I would definitely love to see him stick around, not go back to France. What do you guys think about that? Who stole the show? For Yarl, Prezi the boss says 6'10". That could be true, man. He's growing by the day. Don't forget, he's only 20. Is Muhammad Diawara, fam. We've got a nice group of younger guys that are still very young. Deshaun Wilson says Muhammad Diawara looks very impressive. Yep. Here's the next play we're going to dial up that was very impressive from Diawara. The dump down pass using his height, that height to see over the D and throw down that pass, drawing the double team and finding James Nagy for the and one bucket. Intriguing playmaking shown by Diawara, man. Talk about scoring, not so much in his horizon, but playmaking, defense. Obviously, the three-point shot could be something that might take the longest to come around. I mean, the form looks okay. His jumper don't look broken, but the skill sets that look ready to translate for Diawara is the ball handling, playmaking, and defense right now. And you saw them, and he bullied his way to the cup in that one. Salute to Paula and everyone in the building. Prezi the boss says redemption game. I was like, Kolek and Beauchamp better stop drinking that juice before they get traded. Man, pros have pride. They do want to, definitely bounce back. And they watched the film and they did that. But look, the Brooklyn Nets were slightly worse defensively than the last two opponents. And so we will figure it out once we get to the fourth game, the fifth game, and then we'll give our overarching, conclusions from Summer League. But look, good for the Knicks to get their first win. We go back to some earlier plays. Again, man, I really like this finish from Diawara. Looks fluid. Does not look uncoordinated for his size. That catch is tricky for a long man in the corner. Didn't step out of bounds. I know Clyde will be, happy with that. And got the quick first step. And he's got the hops too. Almost had a huge throwdown that he didn't complete. But you love to see those flashes. And then look, the three-point ball from Kolek was something that I was wanting to see come into Summer League. And we hadn't seen that at all. Obviously he'd been struggling with the playmaking, the turnovers, and some of those other things, the physicality. But the three-point ball, man, 5 of 12 from Kolek in this one. And you got to see that on full effect, 41% from downtown. Finished with 6 of 6 from the foul line, +3. So it was a winning player tonight. 4 steals. So that could have been the most impressive thing. I think Kolek was getting in the passing lanes. He didn't look like a player that was deterred, based on the last two, bad performances. And look, he bounced back. I thought Huck Porty in those 13 minutes, I think, wouldn't be surprised if they shut him down soon. Maybe one more game with Huck. What do y'all think? But this was probably Huck Porty's best moment of the night, man. A two-way sequence with the block and then the nice lefty finish, man. Bullying his way to the rack and finishing with the left, man. And whatever he said there, right, man, I'm not a lip reader, but he probably said, man, get in the weight room. Because Huck Porty showed some flashes with the soft touch, with the left hand, man, getting downhill. Salute to the chat. Yeah, it was a bad opponent in this one. Brooklyn were missing 4 guys, but I mean, you got to big up your guys when they have a better performance, right? Obviously, we need to see a lot more consistency, and one good performance doesn't erase 2 bad performances. But I do think that the Knicks are obviously still looking for that vet point guard, and they are going to be tying that one down, I think, to the 14th spot. The 13th spot is obviously going to go to a younger guy, most likely Kevin McCullough Jr., in my opinion, out of all the guys, man. Also, we had a report today from Ian Begley that the Knicks are still in touch with the camp of Ben Simmons, and they're still in touch with Landry Shamet's agent. So what would y'all feel if Landry Shamet was to get that final 15th, 14th veteran spot, right? Does look like they're prioritizing a ball handler, but if that doesn't come to fruition, I wouldn't be mad, if Landry does come back. I think that'd be fine, in my opinion. And I do think Kevin McCullough has done enough to earn that spot. On that note, yeah, Prezi asks, CT, do you think Diawara will get the rookie min? Or is that going to go to McCullough? Definitely like Diawara, Naji, and little spurts of Dink Pate for the other two ways if it goes to Kevin. Yeah, based on last game, I would assume it's going to go to Kevin. I just think he looks like the most mature and the most ready-made guy that could help on the pro roster, on the pro contract for the full standard deal. But injuries, that's something that he needs to get past, man. I know it's not his fault. He took a big shot to the face last game after dealing with a knock the game earlier. But there you see Pacome Dardier and McCullough on the sideline. Nasal contusion. I mean, you've got to obviously tread carefully, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything major. Pacome Dardier's one might be a little bit more concerning in the short term with the toe sprain and in the walking boot, as reported by James L. Edwards of The Athletic. And so Dardier, wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play again. I mean, the toe sprain in the walking boot. But hopefully the masked assassin, McCullough, can give us another performance. But I wouldn't be mad if he doesn't. We can get a bigger look at Diawara, fam. I don't think Diawara is going to get the main spot, Prezi. I think that'll be a little too premature. I think give the main spot to McCullough for now, and definitely give a two-way to Diawara. And he can play G League. He can play 45 games with the big club as well. So those were the guys, man, on the sideline. Johnny says, CT, the broadcast with Tom Crean was excellent. He was pointing out Knicks' weaknesses all game, and especially Brunson and the one pass, one shot, style of play. Johnny, yeah, I loved it, man. I thought it was a lot better than hearing, Brendan Haywood and some of the other guys, interviewing GMs during the broadcast. We got Tom Crean. I was going to say Mike Breen, but we got Tom Crean, and I thought it was great. Yeah, it was good. He was really respecting the prospects, respecting their game, and giving us good insights. Tyler Kolek, man, getting crafty. This is what you need from an undersized, a weaker point guard. Use your savviness, man. Brain over brawn. And he kept his feet on the ground. And he ended the first quarter with 14 points and 3 steals, man. What a way to bounce back from Tyler Kolek. Mike Brown was in the building watching as well. The Knicks spent the most expensive second-round pick contract on Tyler Kolek, and we needed to see better play, man. And he came to play today. Let's see if he can continue this and finish strong for Summer League, man, because 25 points on 5 of 12 from downtown is solid. In the 3 in the plus-minus, and also he had 4 dimes, 4 steals, 4 dimes, 4 turnovers. So you've got to clean that up a little still. But it's Summer League. There's a lot of fouling and all of that. 6 of 6 from the foul line. You love to see that as well. Also, shout out to Anton Watson. I mean, I don't think he's going to get a 2-way contract because it's a bit of a squeeze right now. But I do think that Anton Watson's best game came tonight as well, helping the Knicks get the win, 5 of 6 from the field. Now, in regards to James Nagy, Dink Pate, I just want to give some constructive notes about James Nagy, man. I think he's definitely a guy that's intriguing, deserves a 2-way, has had flashes, finishing around the basket, looks pretty strong. I mean, the man's an absolute beast physically. But, I mean, y'all can see for yourself on this play. I thought he's a little ill-disciplined. some of the things that you see with a young player, a little too overzealous with this one. And in the words of Clyde, man, if you're ever in doubt, what would Clyde say with this play, man? He's how many feet from beyond the arc, man? You don't need to gamble on that kind of play. He's not going to hurt you. So I don't know why James Nagy was reaching, man. He was teaching on James Nagy. So he's got to clean those things up. But yeah, Nagy has some nice finishes around the basket. Like I said earlier, fam, as we give you all the insights, man, the good, the bad, the ugly, man. We cover it like it is. We tell you what's good, what needs to be fixed. And we're going to be live post-game, Game 4 as well against Indiana. And that is going to be on Thursday. Fam, back at it on Thursday night. And the Knicks will have one more game after that to be announced. So we've got 2 more to play still. Definitely. Who do you guys want to see play more? I mean, I want to see more Diawara, in my opinion. Now, we're going to touch on some news like we always do, right? Looks like Landry Shamet is in heavy consideration still to get that final veteran spot. But the Knicks are still in touch with Ben Simmons' camp. But Josh Okogie got waived. He averaged 10 points per game, man. And can play make a little as well. Solid production in the league. Josh Okogie got waived, so the Knicks could be looking at him. Also, another veteran looking to get back into the league, Victor Oladipo. We know the Knicks had a private workout with Victor Oladipo last season, and he's been trying to get back into the league. 33 years old, so he ain't that old. I mean, he shows that he's still got some explosion off that one, man, with the quick first step. I think there's a spot in the league still for Victor Oladipo if he can stay healthy. A solid veteran with experience, a playmaker, a ball handler, and a scorer as well. I mean, the Knicks might be taking a look at him. What do y'all think? What would y'all think about that? Where's some nice workout tape of our big pickup, Gershon Yabusele, man. The 3-point ball looks in mid-season form, and he looks to be gliding, man, like a wing out there. Does Gershon Yabusele got the post turnaround fade and the corner spacer right there as well. He's got the full repertoire from downtown, and I'm really looking forward, man. I'm really happy with the upgrades the Knicks have made off the bench, and I think the Knicks are going to be able to play so many different lineups when it comes to offense, spacing, and increasing our pace as well. I see you, J Dragon. McCullough is the man. He can play the way he is capable. If he can play the way he is capable. Yep. So I agree. I think McCullough is a guy. I mean, 30 points looked really comfortable last game. D Grant says, you know how many dunks Mitch will get with Ben Simmons? Yeah, I think it's just about roster fit. With Ben Simmons, he fits the puzzle right now, He could be, a piece that fits the final puzzle. Yes, he's got his flaws, and he's definitely a guy that comes with some baggage. But right now, he's not coming in to be the, the sixth man. He's not coming in to be the, the fifth man. He's coming in to be like the 8th, 9th, 10th guy. And I think there's something there. But as spoken on the Put Back show with Ian Begley, the Knicks remain interested in Landry Shamet. And also, he remains open to coming back, which we kind of already felt because, he's a big fan, loved his time last season. And I think the feeling is mutual when it comes to Landry Shamet. Now, what's Landry going to bring when it comes to returning? He's not going to provide the playmaking and ball handling that we need, but having another shooter off the bounce, a guy that can come off pin downs, a great locker room guy, a two-way player that can defend the perimeter, I think tenaciously, good vibes as well. We missed a bit of that with Dante DiVincenzo. And also, I think this point's worth making is that Landry, from November all the way till basically, was it March, April, was off the squad. And so we missed about 4 months of Landry Shamet last season, right? We finished with 51 wins, and we didn't have Landry Shamet off our bench for 4 of those months. So all of the talk about the Knicks bench and the lack of depth, well, we did miss Landry for a lot of the season. And look, when Thibodeau finally played Landry, he helped us, and he definitely, helped his case to stay in the league. Only 28 years old. Just like I said. Some more news as well. Like I said, Josh Okogie got waived. He was owed $7.75 million that was set to be guaranteed, but the Hornets have cut him to save that money. Now, Okogie averaged 9 points and 2 steals in just 18 minutes per game in 15 games for Charlotte last season. So I think the Knicks could do a lot worse than Okogie when it comes to 9 points, 2 steals in 18 minutes. That's some pretty solid production right there. Now, a other account, less credible account, is speculating that Landry Shamet, assuming negotiations stay on track and alternative roster spots don't materialize, Landry will be back. So the buzz is getting louder that Landry could be back. But obviously the Knicks might just be waiting on dominoes and a decision to be made. When it comes to Ben Simmons, he could be kind of, higher up the list. Yeah, Oladipo, yeah, he could be over the hill, but no doubt, if he's still able to contribute, he could probably give you something more than some of these other fringe guys. What's up, Margaret? Great to see you. The chat's buzzing right now. The Knicks pick up their first win in Summer League. Tyler Kolek and Beauchamp had their best games, so Huck Porty continues to be really consistent. And Diawara continues to be consistently intriguing. Chris says, CT, what do you think about Seth Curry? I like the shooting element, and I like the experience Seth Curry would bring. But Chris, I do think they're prioritizing Landry a little bit bigger than Seth Curry. With Landry can still move off the ball, but Seth Curry's a better knockdown 3-point sniper with that. But I do have concerns with Seth Curry's defense, fam. So I do think there's some better options, but I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if Seth Curry, comes back. Margaret says, I like Shamet. He shoots threes and he can defend. Yeah. When it comes to Shamet, look, I do think, we're going to get a lot of that with Kevin McCullough as well. As I roll the tape, some of y'all may not have seen from last game, as this account is also breaking it down, 1.65 points per shot at the rim, 1.6 without fouls, a 59% frequency, 50% unassisted, and 1.67 on driving shots. So McCullough is an elite slasher, guys, and what I love about McCullough is he gets to the foul line, man. 9 of 10 last game on a team that doesn't get to the foul line very much, and a bench that struggles to get to the foul line too. Kevin McCullough can manufacture points out of nowhere, and he's very long, rangy, with his 6'6" frame, and slithery as well. As you see, he can contort his body with that finish to get the little scoop, the pretty scoop as well. I do think the 3-point shot is a major swing skill. Like, McCullough is a bona fide rotation NBA player if the 3-point shot comes along. Right now, he's definitely a situational player. But, he can be a guy that helps you out, on the 14th spot, 15th spot. There is going to be back-to-backs. There's going to be a long grind of a season. There's going to be injuries, hopefully not too serious. But obviously we're counting on our depth to be there if and if and when they're needed, right? I'm not counting on these young guys to, guarantee to produce from day one. But what you need is you need them to be there in practice. You need them there to get better and produce for the future. Mike Brown's very big on practices, so these young guys are going to get a bigger look in practice, maybe a chance to stake their claim, fam. And we had a great interview from Ariel Huckporty, a 4-minute interview, man. He spoke about Tibbs and, helping him, get established into the league, build winning habits. On the defensive side, he shouted out Mitchell Robinson for giving him tips on being a star in his role, and that his aim is to be a defensive star on his, in his role on that side of the ball. He shouted out McCullough and said when he plays with McCullough, he usually gets touches and finds him, and he's looking forward to a big season ahead. So we got some good updates from Ariel Huckporty with that one. On the coaching front, it does look like that Mike Brown got 2 seats he can fill, fam. Looks like Dice is going to be back, Darren Ehrman, Mo Cheeks, Mark Bryant, we have Rick Brunson as well, Jordan Brink. Man, most of the band is coming back. How do y'all feel about that, really? Is that a surprise to you? That's a bit of a surprise to me that many dudes are coming back. Now, was that a mandate? Was that Mike Brown just saying, hey, man, I'm just cool getting back into the league. I'm cool being with the Knicks. Y'all get me a couple of guys that I want to get, and y'all can keep the rest. Because don't forget, it's quite expensive to pay out. The Knicks had to spend $30 million to pay Tibbs to move on. And we are in a situation where we have these assistants under contract, and I think we're bringing a lot of them back for consistency. I'm not mad at it. I mean, I'm really looking to see who Mike Brown brings in as the associate head coach. Looks like Darvin Ham can't come. Man, his team is not letting him out of that contract. So it looks like Darvin Ham can't come. It looks like James Borrego can't come, fam. And it looks like Mike Brown's already got Rios, the Rios guy, the assistant he had with the Kings, who's a offensive guy for him, but not the guy that he really wanted, which was Borrego. And it does look like Mike Brown got one more guy that he's going to bring through. We'll see how that plays out. Margaret says no to Ben Simmons. Johnny says, are we considering that last roster spot going to a rotation player? Who would Shamet play over? Yeah, I think Shamet would be situational. I don't think Shamet would be in the 9 or 10 man, fam. I do think it'd be Huckporty if it's 10 man, because you need that extra big. But Shamet would be a solid 11th man. Glenn, salute, appreciate you, and great to always have you with us. I hope we wait to see what better players are cut or shake loose, and I don't want the same bench as last year. Yeah, so it looks like Precious Campaign won't return. I mean, that's basically all but sealed. But I'm comfortable with this 10-man rotation. I think Ariel Huckporty has, out of all of the young guys, has solidified himself as being an NBA rotation player consistently. Hey, it might only be 8 minutes, 12 minutes. He's capable of 20 minutes, but however way you see it, I feel like Ariel Huckporty is a guy that, would be the backup center and would do a solid job. 8 stocks in 3 games. Looks like his rebounding is really intensified. Finishing at the basket continues to be a work in progress, but it's still, a skill set that looks capable. And his screen setting is elite. He's playing out of the short roll, looks to be solid as well, and with his decision making too. So this is one of the assistants that it looks like Mike Brown is going to bring in. Nice little nugget here for your fam. He worked with Mikal Bridges on the Phoenix Suns team that went to the finals. So we're adding some more continuity. Prezi the boss says, let's focus on our core and getting our new Bulls, Clarkson and Yabusele, involved. Do some development with McCullough, Dardier, Huck, Kolek, Diawara, Beauchamp, and Naji as our future. Yeah, I like that last part you mentioned, fam, because I know the natural feeling is to think about this season and this season only. But don't forget, man, we're up against the second apron, and Mitch and Macau are due for extensions. And so if McCullough comes along and after this season is ready to step in, that's a huge win. Same with Dardier. Same with Huckporty, Kolek, Diawara, any of these guys. Even if it's not this season, if it's another season down the line and these guys can eat up some minutes at some point in the future, that's a big win for the organization. Because look, we're up against it. There's veteran minimums, every year, and I don't really want to be fishing around for every year's Ben Simmons or every year's Jordan Clarkson. At some point we need some extra continuity, and we need a guy that's going to be able to stick. And for me, McCullough looks like he's got an NBA skill set right now. Puts the shoulder down, is able to play physical and get contact. I mean, discount Josh Hart, with all respect in the world to these guys, but I think that's a good way to look at it. Is he a discount Josh Hart? The slashing ability looks elite, and he looks like he's a better ball handler than Josh Hart, in my opinion. Juan V, great comment here. Knicks need to continue to draft, sign, and these live bodies. One of them will eventually pan out. I think that's the aim, Juan. Take these bets on, bigger guys, with more size in Dardier, Diawara, Naji, Huck, McCullough. Bigger guys that can impose their will, I think, in the NBA game. Right? And so, back to today. For those that are just tuning in, smash that like button. Tyler Kolek, rain from downtown, 5 of 12, finished +3, 25 points, 4 dimes, 4 turnovers, and 41% from the field, but looked a lot more confident, looked a lot more comfortable. And third game into Summer League, I'm going to predict that he looks good in the fourth game and starts to, find a rhythm. I think that's the way players normally come into Summer League. Some of them come in hot, some of them come in rusty. But we all knew that Tyler Kolek was better than what he had shown. And today was a step in the right direction, man. He's still not going to be a factor, I think, that the club depends on this season. But I do think he's going to be a guy that is going to be on the roster. I mean, barring any trade, he's a guy that's going to be around because he's on the full roster spot. These are the things you love to see, man. Getting in the passing lane, 4 steals was impressive. And also that little crafty, hezzy stutter at the bucket had his man all hopping up in the air and converted that one real silky, man. Buzzer beater, you know what it is. Salute. Macau better show up this season in a major way. Macau Bridges, shout out to him. He's been present on the sideline of Summer League, enjoying his summer out in Vegas, posting some workout videos as well. I do think that it's a big season coming up for Macau Bridges. Eddie Alvarez, salute, says the way the league is going, you need contributions from all your players, 1 through 10 at least. Definitely, the way it's going. Shout out to the Pacers and Rick Carlisle as well. Showed us that, look, if you're going to play fast, you can play more guys, and kind of like quick hockey substitutions, because these guys get gassed real quick. But if they can give you 4 to 5 minutes of just high intensity training out there and real hustle, then you can sub these guys out. You can get them in and out of the game real quick. Now we just need to avoid the injury bug, man. We need to avoid the injury bug. We had a pretty decent run of injuries. I know the Landry thing was a bit of a hiccup, missing Landry for 4 months. But Look, Brunson missed 15 games. We were able to survive, but obviously I want to see Kevin McCullough stay healthy, because I do think he's probably going to get that 14th spot when it comes to, the full roster, and I do think that the two-ways are looking good right now. I do think Hakporty obviously is going to be a 10th, 11th, no less than 12th man on this squad. I mean, we only have two traditional centers. Kat and Yabusele, in my opinion, are not traditional centers, and Hakporty is definitely showing that he is a traditional big man, but got some guard skills as well. Can pass out of the short roll, can set great screens, and can obviously block shots and rebound at a high level. High level. So we got to see some more flashes in this one from the big aerial Huck. Prezi the boss. Yeah, we haven't heard much about DeLon Wright. That's a good shout, because I thought DeLon Wright, Landry, I said when the season ended, I would not have been mad if either one had returned. Either one. I thought they both played solid in their role. I think obviously we probably need a little bit more of DeLon Wright on this team, but maybe they are open to giving Tyler Kolek, more of a chance, right? You see 2 games struggled. Today was a lot better. Looked closer to being an NBA rotation player today. Now, against bad opponent, poor opposition, but nevertheless, 5 of 12 is impressive. 4 assists, 4 steals, and 25 points, man, is solid in anyone's language right now. I just love this screen by Hakporty, man. I want more of that, man. Lay some wood, Hakporty. And also, going to shout out James Nagy a bit more, because I think he's deserving of a two-way. If we're following the dots, let me pull up the bucket from Nagy. Great find by Diawara, finding Nagy. Looks to have strong hands. I think as a big man, you need to have strong hands. I think that's a big tick for Nagy, in my opinion. If that was a Jericho, maybe a Nerlens Noel, maybe a Precious Achua, maybe that ball gets a little bumble out of bounds. But everything that I've seen with Nagy, he seems to have clean hands for a big man. Sets good screens. They don't really find him much on the roll, but I think Diawara deserves a shout out in this one. Found him under the basket in that dunker spot. See, I'd hook Nagy up with a two-way. I mean, we're a little light on traditional centers, so it would help to have him around, break glass in case of emergency type thing. During the season, just have another traditional big man sort of in Westchester, and sticking around. But I mean, is Mohamed Diawara the most intriguing prospect on the Knicks out of all of these guys? Right, we've only seen 3 games, but I wouldn't argue with you if you were to say that Mohamed Diawara was the most intriguing player, young player, out of any of the young Knicks right now, man. I mean, what is this, man? I didn't know he was having a jab step mid-range. I mean, he looks so comfortable in that situation. We don't see that from Pacome Dardier. We don't see that from McCullough, Marjon Beauchamp, Dink Pate. We don't see that from any of these guys. He showed a lot of poise. Showing like a guy that has pro experience as well. Eddie says the bench has vastly improved from last year. It should be a strength of ours. Yep. Instead of the weakness. Agree. Buzzer says, what's happened to Chewy? I think Chewy's going to be in the league. I think he's just waiting for the vet minimum spots around the league to sort of get filled. I'm sure someone will pick him up. I think worst case, Precious Achua is capable of being the 12th, 13th, 14th man. Johnny says McCullough is the perfect bench player to overwhelm opponent second teams. Yeah, agree. definitely. Physicality is something that I look at. I really do look at when it comes to that. What do y'all think about Beauchamp overall? 25 points, major bounce back, but looks like he's kind of up against it with not being eligible for a two-way, competing against some other intriguing guys going for a two-way as well. But I think I'm happy for him because this performance will still kind of get the attention of some other teams around the league. When it comes to Beauchamp, right? Um, but the processing of the game with Huck Porty, shades of Isaiah Hartenstein with this one, fam. Didn't force it. Was kind of foul line from the basket, little too far out to force it into traffic, but took his time and found the open three in the short roll. For a young player, this looks like a very simple read, but a lot of players want to impress in summer league. Tunnel vision can creep in, but no, that's Ariel Huck Porty there playing team ball. And I was very impressed with his interview that I spoke about earlier with the NBL, Derek Rucker, the NBL legend, and producing some great content on the NBL platform and NBL socials and YouTube channel. But yeah, Ariel Huck Porty seemed to be very wise, talking about being a superstar in his role. Right, he's not trying to come in here and flash offensive game right now. He's trying to be the best defensive big man that he can be, and so I like that. But in terms of the Tyler Kolek experience today, guys, in the bounce back, what was the most impressive thing to you? Roberto Torres coming in. Muhammad is our best prospect. Have your say, guys. Margaret says yes. Diawara is good. He only going to get better. Amen. Amen. Eddie also says yes. I'm very impressed with Diawara. He seems to know the game at an early age, and I want him on the squad to throw at any wing that might be lighting us up. Size. Yeah, 100%, man. Agree. The playmaking looks really nice. 26 minutes tonight. Play him more. We'll talk about the next game. We'll preview that in a second. Prezi says, CT, I just thought of this. Can Diawara become our LA Lakers Lamar Odom? Man, I think I see the vision. Let's take it step at a time. I love it, but let's take it step at a time. But I see the vision, man. I see the vision right there. And look, it was a kind of a mixed draft night. We traded back one spot. One of those days where we're up late at night, hoping that Leon can cook and do something. We heard another French prospect's name. You heard the moans and the groans of Knicks Nation. But right now, man, people look to be pretty sweet with the pick. I posted the video that night with Rafael Barlow, friend of the program, doing great work on the NBA Big Board and formerly of the Locked On NBA Big Board channel. He put in his draft night recap that he heard Muhammad Diawara's name was buzzing throughout the draft prospect circles around the league. So that wasn't a surprise that the Knicks selected him because he heard Muhammad Diawara's name was buzzing. So that tells me a couple of things. That tells me that what we're seeing, guys, ain't something that, maybe, has been showing for years now. Maybe he's just sort of coming in and dominating workouts. Maybe he's shown a rapid improvement in his game, and the Knicks really liked what they saw compared to the French, the footage in the French league. Great drive in this one. Next up, Super Chat coming through from Jason B. Let's get it, Jason. Salute to you. Keeping the streets buzzing. Jason Benjamin says, I want to see a Ben Simmons, Clarkson, Dardier, Yabusele, Huck Porty lineup sometime during the season. Serious length, shooting, and defense. Some McCullough too. intriguing, man. Intriguing lineups with size. Talk about Ben Simmons, 6'10" at the point. Clarkson's shot making and scoring. And Dardier's ability to cut off ball and slashing. Yabusele's ability to post, play in the post, and hit the outside shot as well. And Ariel Hukporti there for all of the rebounds and the screens. I see the vision, Jason. Definitely. McCullough as well. Hey, is Leon onto something? Right, taking some heat for some of these picks, right? Like always, guys, we just need to be a little patient. We need to be patient, right? If every player can just be a star in their role, I think we will have some rotation players, to come in and help us. Now, I definitely feel like we missed out on some guys, and that is the case with, AJ Mitchell dominating, Terrence Shannon. We had Ao Desunmu look good. You can't always hit on the picks. The Knicks have missed on some guys that I really like. But with Mohamed Diawara, Hukporti, I think Dardier shown to be moving in the right direction. McCullough as well. We're in a good spot moving forward as a contender. I think now Dardier, looking ahead to the next game. So Dardier was on the bench in the walking boot. So James L. Edwards III says, who knows how much we're going to see in the final Summer League games coming up for a Pack Daddy. I would probably bet McCullough would be more likely to play. He's got the mask, but Dardier in the walking boot, fam. Now, Hukporti continues to play solid. Only 13 minutes tonight, though. I think they're getting a bigger look at Naji. They already know Hukporti's on the main contract. So, we're not really... He's not playing for a spot. Like, he's going to be on the squad. Everybody knows that now. And I think maybe Hukporti might get shut down or continue to play less minutes. He might start, play 13 minutes again next game, and then have an earlier seat. But I like this sequence from Hukporti, man. 8 stocks in 3 games from a backup center is really good. He had 18 rebounds coming into tonight. How many did he have tonight? He had 5 rebounds, right? So that's 23 rebounds, fam, in 3 games, fam. That's what, 8 rebounds a game, fam. 8 rebounds a game in limited minutes from Ariel Hukporti, fam, with 8 stocks, 2 of 3 as well, solid around the basket too. So that's good too, fam. Maybe they want to get more of a look of Luka Shkuka. What do y'all think? Could he be a ticket for Westchester? Let us know what you think, fam. Would you be open to giving a G League spot to Luka Shkuka? Jay Dragon wants us to bring in Spree. Man, I'm not going to lie. I would love us to bring in some vets, old OGs. Patrick is number 1 for me, fam. Patrick can teach defense. I wish Mike Brown would bring Patrick onto the staff. Dirty Dancers in the building. Prezi the boss says, trust me, I'm very measured with what I was thinking. He's out grabbing rebounds, playing D, running and gunning, and he has to improve his overall shooting to be considered a Siakam light. Updating the comp. Yeah, man. I'm going to watch more film and I'm going to come up with some more comparisons. But from Diawara right now, I mean, a guy a lot of fans were looking at was maybe a guy like Larry Nance. Different kind of player, but you see the same kind of height, length, athleticism. Diawara's longer in wingspan than Larry Nance, but you see that kind of vision, a guy who could guard 3s, 4s, and 5s. So definitely intriguing. Eddie says Kolek was aggressive and looked to score. Yep. I think the defense was a little less tight on him, a little less foul heavy. He was able to get to his spots too. Roberto says, who makes the team? We need the big board up, CT. Your picks for three-way. One McCullough, two Beauchamp, three Nagy. I think it's still a little fluid because there's a couple games to play out, but I'll give you my current preference. Now, I know he had a great game today, and I need to give him some props. Marjan Beauchamp, after a rough start, definitely had an excellent second half. You see his athleticism. He's good in transition. There's a reason why he's, hanging around hanging around the league circles after being drafted in the first round. And I think Beauchamp's a guy that, took benefit of the two-way, but now's the time that he really has to step up and earn a roster spot. And I don't know if he's really earned that with us right now. I think we're going to give it to Shamit, or we're going to give it to another veteran like Ben Simmons. As for the other spot, I think it's going to go to McCullough, the regular roster spot, because I do think that, you need a two-way player, wing, size, and he can create some shots, and he can defend as well. And I would think Diawara, Naji, and Dink Pate will get the three two-ways, in my opinion. But here's where the Knicks have a little bit of flexibility, guys. The Knicks can send Diawara back to France and say, hey, we like you. You're going to be around in the future, but just go back to France, continue to play professionally for another year, and get that professional seasoning with some grown men. And maybe we give the 2A to another guy. But I wouldn't do that. I would keep Mohamed Diawara around. I mean, I would keep him right here at Tarrytown in Westchester, fam. So that's the way I would go right now. And it looks like our 14 guys off the bench is Dardier, Kolek, McCullough, and Landry right now. If we can't get a guy like, Marcus Smart, CP3, Brogdon, or Ben Simmons. But look, while we've still got him under contract, man, you got to be happy for Tyler Kolek. He needed to bounce back, and he did that. Let's see how he does in the next game. Jason Benjamin with a super chat contribution. Buzzing right now. Do you think Pack has done enough to get minutes? Jason, I think right now the team that we have is very competitive and very stacked, especially off the bench. So I would say not right away. I would say Pacome Dardier needs to have a great training camp. Hopefully he can play more Summer League minutes, but I think it won't be the end of the world if he can't play in these final two games. I would sit him with the toe sprain if he can't go. But I think training camp, continue to put in that work during the summer, and I think at some point during the season, with situational minutes, injuries, he might be ready to come in and give us something. But right now, I would probably have him, neck and neck with Tyler Kolek, with Kevin McCullough, in terms of the wings, the reserve wings, behind like a Landry. And right now, I think Huck Porty has a better shot to get minutes just because of the position that he's currently playing. Dirty Dancer says, I think Mohamed Diawara clearly beat out Naji for the 14th spot. So Dirty Dancer feels like Mo Diawara is going to get the 14th spot or deserves that 14th spot. I'll be a little surprised, but I won't be mad. I won't be mad if he gets that 14th spot, Has he shown more than McCullough? I mean, he showed a higher ceiling. I think he's shown a higher ceiling than McCullough just because of his length, his athleticism. McCullough has a higher floor right now. So I think just depends on which way the club wants to go. But I mean, Diawara can guard fives the way I'm looking at it, fam. I mean, and I guess I want to say this because this has kind of rang true. Remember I showed y'all the video up on YouTube? There's a great channel that uploaded Diawara film all season from the France tape all season, and it was 2.5 hours basically, and I watched it, Not even all of it, because I'm not that crazy. But from the first 25 minutes, the thing that stood out to me straight away was his ability to handle the ball. You know, like we kind of felt like, all right, is he going to be able to be on the ball? Is he going to look too rusty, too raw? But nah, man, the first thing I noticed in that tape in France was that Diawara is actually on the ball a lot more than you would expect. Now we didn't see much of that in the draft tape, on ESPN and some of the scarce videos that went up on the night that we drafted him. But after I started to watch the extended tape, you got to see things like this. You got to see him put the ball on the floor, and yeah, the handle looks a little loose, definitely, but I mean, it's serviceable. If straight line drives, I mean, how much different is this to Carl Anthony Towns if we're keeping it a bean, right? This is a Carl Anthony Towns type move. Catch it from the 3-point line, 2 dribbles at the basket. I mean, Cat's dribble ain't exactly Steve Nash like either. Cat's dribble is much of the same. And I think Diawara just got to work on that handle all summer, man. Just get with Mo, Larry, and Curly, man, and work on those drills, fam. Diawara should get the rookie contract deal, says Chris. Yep. So you guys are hype, loving what we're seeing from Diawara so far. Look, the 3-point ball probably looks the thing that is going to take the longest to come along, but finishing at the basket, cutting, here's another great cut, and a great read from Kolek too. This is exactly what you see from a Pacome Dardier cut from the corner. But I mean, guy's got no chance of recovering with Diawara's length and ability to finish over the basket, man, and play above the rim. So, fluid athlete, man. It looks like the scouts hit something with Muhammad Diawara. I mean, doesn't look like he's going to be just some off-ball stiff. Looks like he can run some plays already on the ball, which is the most impressive thing. But I mean, this play was like straight out of what the hell. If you can do more of this, man, if you can do more of this, we're looking at first round pick potential. Little elbow J, and just took his time. That looks smooth, and his jump shot the mechanics look solid. Very high release. There's no way anybody's blocking that shot. Eddie says, let's not lose sight that Kolek is an NBA player. Forget the first 2 Summer League games. Tyler can help the second unit get the ball moving in spots. Definitely, it was a bit of an overreaction from the first 2 games. Justifiable to have concerns, but I do think Kolek was clearly better than what we saw, which I think was the most shocking thing. That most fans were kind of just confused. It's like he looked better than that last year. How is he regressed? But I think when it comes to Kolek, he's just got to find ways to get downhill, and get off the ball as quick as he possibly can. Because I think once a bigger, stronger defender can crowd Kolek, that's when turnovers and bad things start to happen. So I think once Kolek can, continue to read the floor better, play with better teammates as well, I think Kolek will be okay. I still think the ceiling is Tyler Kolek can be a capable NBA backup point guard. But for us this season, maybe not, and that's okay. We're looking for a veteran right now. But if there's a year or 2 left on his rookie contract and he's ready to step in and then be the backup, I think that will be very, very helpful. But I mean, talk about point forwards, point wings with McCullough and Diawara and Dink Pate, who we'll touch on a little bit next. I want to talk about Dink Pate. Yeah, we talked about Najee enough. I think Najee's earned enough to get a 2-way. Some concerns with his back. Had some back spasms in the last game. had a back operation last season in Europe, which did slow his progress. But Naji, good to see him able to play tonight, and looks like he's healthy still. But yeah, Diawara's size, man, he just bullied that guy on that one, which was good. Chris says definitely Diawara before Naji. Now, D. Grant says the Knicks are very short on ball handlers. Kolek has regressed. They're not going to trust him for now. I agree that they're not going to trust him for now, but if he's the 13th, 14th guy, I'm okay with that. There might be some injuries at the point. Maybe he progresses as the season goes along. I mean, don't forget, guys, he's going to play a lot of Westchester. He's going to play a lot of G League. He just got to continue to play. Got to continue to play ball. But look, a step in the right direction. Let's see how they do against better competition. Because I do think Indiana's G League team it's going to be a lot better than a weakened a Brooklyn Summer League team, fam. Now, in terms of Beauchamp, a couple of good reads. I think Beauchamp will come into training camp, right? You can bring 20 guys in, right? And worst case scenario, he gets cut. He'll be a Westchester guy, trying to get back into the league, kind of like we did with TJ Warren. If you get cut after training camp, you can take the Exhibit 10 and go to Westchester, right? Beauchamp, we know he's an athlete. I think that'll keep him around for a minute, but he does have to start to put it all together, hopefully soon. These were the NBA things that we see from Kolek. Able to come off the curl and hit the three is going to be a big swing skill, I think, for Kolek. We already said it coming into Summer League. He has to be aggressive. He has to be attacking in an attack mindset and not be too passive. Yes, he can spray the passes around, but when Kolek's hitting shots, putting pressure on the defense, I think that's when he is going to be most dangerous, right? But he is a pass-first point guard. It's hard for me to say he's regressed, D. I think it's hard to say after 3 Summer League games that he's regressed, but I know what his struggles are. He struggles with size. He struggles with defensive-minded, guys with physicality, and he just has to work around that. I mean, TJ McConnell had the same issues coming into the league. People doubted whether or not TJ McConnell would ever stick, and he just worked at it. He chipped at it, and he chipped away, and he grinded, and every single year he got better and better, man. I think, if hard work is undefeated, they say, look at Muggsy Bogues, 5'3". No one would ever thought he would stick in the league. I know that was going back, a couple of eras now. But if it's possible for a 5'3" point guard to be in the league, Tyler Kolek can find a way, but he's just not ready, in my opinion, this season. And I think it's the right call for the organization to bring in another veteran, right? And if you want to look at last season, guys, we haven't replaced DeLon Wright's spot, and we haven't replaced Cam Payne's spot yet, technically. So we are missing some of that ball handling too. Dirty Dancer says Anton Watson can go. Dink Pate versus Marajon is an interesting debate. Yeah, I think Dink Pate I want to touch on now, because I haven't seen the consistent attacking, finishing at the basket that I hoped that he was going to bring. But he's dropped a couple of threes in a couple of games now. Tonight, 1 of 3. So nothing to write home about, but 1 of 3 from downtown. I mean, I thought his 3-point ball was his weakest skill, and he's able to knock down some threes. So that's encouraging. 2 of 2 from the foul line as well. That's encouraging. 3 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 points, and a Heights +7 in 13 minutes from Dink Pate. So yeah, bring us more minutes from Dink Pate in the next game, right? Sit McCullough, sit Dardier. Let's get some more Dink Pate with the rest of the squad, fam. Is Diawara a diamond, Johnny? Yeah, he looks like he's a diamond in the rough right now. uh, yeah, man, that reference, man. I was trying to reference the Harlem Globetrotters, fam. That's what I'm talking about with Diawara as well. I think he's got to get with the dribble gods, fam. Get him with the dribble gods with Diawara. If you can tighten that handle, man, and attack those closeouts, good luck. Good luck. But yeah, look, he's raw. He's by no means, finished. I think Diawara, late second round pick. But those are the guys that are worth taking a flyer on because, you know, they could have been a first round prospect if things click. And, some people didn't believe in them, and the Knicks did believe in some of these late second round pick guys too. But it's flashes that we're seeing. Uh, So looking ahead now, we've got Indiana, right? Johnny Furphy's been playing well. They've got Talon Peter as well, and they've got some of their other younger guys. So that's going to be a fun matchup. That's going to be the penultimate uh, summer league game. Can the Knicks level it up and go 2-2? Can Tyler Kolek back up and go 2-2 in this summer league? Here Kolek navigates the pressure. But guess who's there to save him, man? The Huck. With the big time screen, bone crunching screen. And I thought, yeah, Kolek was shooting the rock with confidence tonight. So the shot came back with Tyler Kolek. I didn't really see anything else that I didn't know he was capable of doing. He did everything else. He does got to clean up the turnovers still. But, summer league's a very hectic situation with fouling and playing with guys that you're not comfortable with yet. But I do think in the fourth game we will see a lot more. We will see some comfort. But I want to see Kolek limit the turnovers, continue to shoot efficient, and just honor the role man and use the big man a lot more. I think the issues where Kolek was going wrong, man, in game one, game two, he was a little too quick. He probably had a lot of nerves with Mike Brown sitting courtside, a little rusty. But I thought he was too quick to penetrate with before the pick was set. Now Kolek doesn't have a quick step. He's not got big strides. He's not a tall guy, and he doesn't have that burst to get around the defender. So he does need a good pick. But when he gets around that pick and he's getting downhill, that's in his wheelhouse. He can kick it out to the corners. He can float it. He can pull up for a mid range. He can decide what he's going to do. So I do think Tyler Kolek got to play a little bit more slower, but trust the big man. When it comes to the big man, Ariel Hukporti, 13 minutes tonight. Hopefully he's all good. I didn't hear any injury concerns with Ariel Hukporti. I will check right now and see what the reactions are coming out of this game, man. Mohamed Diawara is looking really, really intriguing and is definitely going to land a spot. Like, give Mohamed Diawara a spot. Whether it's the 14th spot or it's the two-way, he's going to be on the squad, in my opinion, man. I wouldn't send him back to France. Get him with this development staff and get him working with them. Now, I'll just give a quick thought on if McCullough and Dardier's summer league is over and we evaluate it like it's over, depending on whether they can play or not. I would say it's been okay. McCullough, obviously a good note to finish with the 30 points, doing some of the things that we already know that he's strong at. The 3-point ball is a swing skill. I think it's intriguing maybe for the Knicks that McCullough could be a tertiary ball handler and be a guy that could relieve the point guard and be a guy that could guard ones, twos, and threes. So I think that's his best case scenario to getting the 14th spot. We know McCullough's going to stay as well. They extended him a qualifying offer, so barring any roster upheaval and trades, McCullough is going to be around. He's got the qualifying offer. They just haven't, determined whether or not it's going to be a two-way or a roster spot. Dardier already on the squad. If Dardier Summer League is over, nothing that we haven't already seen. Looks like he's a solid player off the ball, cutting, good defensive principles, length, fluid athlete in transition. Still flashes of the three-point shot that hasn't, become a consistent staple yet. But he's a guy that's still a work in progress, and I think Dardier will be, the 12th, 13th guy on the squad under contract, and another year of development for him. And based on that, I would be comfortable if this was the outlook. Swapping Landry out for another, another veteran, maybe that fits. I'd be okay with that. But I think McCullough, I would still give to the 14th spot. I would give Diawara a two-way. If that's the other way around in reverse, I would be okay with that too. But I do think with McCullough being 24 years old, he's a bit more ready now, and maybe the club's looking at that. They're contending, two ways. There is a restriction, and Diawara can use that as a development year as well. But look, if Diawara comes out and plays better in Game 4 and has another good game in Game 5, I mean, it's up for debate right now, fam. I'm by no means saying that this is a lock. Yeah, Dirty, those were some big boy screens from Huckporty. I saw a graphic where people speculated, did Huckporty lose some weight before preseason began? But we clearly haven't seen that. Huckporty's still a grown man, Doesn't look like he's lost too much weight. Now, with this one with Naji, it's all growing pains with Naji. It's just, discipline issues. Length and size look okay. Screen setting looks fine. He's a solid roll drop center, roll man. I don't think there's anything more to James Naji. If I'm keeping it a buck, fam, right? If James Naji can be a better version of Nerlens Noel, I think that's what he projects to be in the league, fam. A best case scenario. I don't think James Naji is going to be spaced out center, but I think his free throw stroke looks solid. I think he looks solid from the free throw. A little slower foot, but he's had some back problems during the last few seasons. So they might make a bold decision on Naji, man. They might be like, you know what, we might want to give a two-way to somebody else, or they might be patient. What do y'all think? What would y'all do with James Naji right now? Definitely Diawara earns a roster spot before him, but I think both of those will probably end up on a two-way with Dink Pate and Anton Watson and Beauchamp can come to training camp and maybe go to Westchester, fam. Yeah, the more I'm seeing about Yabusele, the more impressed I'm being, man. I think this guy is going to be one of the best pickups around the NBA and one of the most underrated pickups, right? For the salary, people are looking at it like, yeah, it's a $5 million signing. It's not going to steal headlines, but I think Yabusele with a better group of talent around him compared to Philadelphia, and another year back in the NBA, I think this guy's going to explode this season, man. And I mean, he's got the player option, so I'm a little worried about that. But the Knicks could find a way to open up some cap space if if they need to. If 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 Yabusele balls out this season, I expect that he's going to play 25 plus minutes because he's so versatile. He can guard fives, fours, some threes, and on the offensive side, he's kind of positionless from the front court. Roberto says loved, the dive for the ball. There was some good hustle tonight. There was some good hustle. Chris says Beauchamp is obviously way more seasoned than Dink Pate is. Yep. It's about upside with those two, I think. In terms of the decision that factors in. Lou says Kolek lives. Absolutely, he did tonight, man. Shout out to Kolek for a bounce back. Watched some film and made some corrections, but it was against a weaker Brooklyn opponent, missing four of their main young guys with Yegor Demon, Tyson Etienne, Drake Powell, and Danny Wolf were all out tonight. Dirty Dancer says, I was surprised Mo stayed in the draft. Thought he might just be a favor to get Yabu, but he can actually play a bit. Yeah, I was thinking that first. I thought, okay, is this more of a true stash? But then when I really heard from credible draft people that Muhammad Diawara, he had some buzz, specifically from Rafael Barlow. So that, no, he had some serious buzz. And then I watched some of the film, extended film from France, and I saw that he could handle the ball a little bit, and he was just so disruptive, man. His hustle game was elite in France and for FIBA, for his French club and for FIBA. His length, he's always in the play, especially with tip backs, man. I think Diawara is going to be a guy that can get you scrappy. He can be a play finisher and be a scrappy player right now. Maybe if it's for 8 to 12 minutes, he's going to be that guy that's just going to look like, the next Pascal Siakam, and then one night he's going to look like a G Leaguer. But it's the reps and the continued development that's going to be intriguing. But yeah, I think Diawara can be a guy that can just get a lot of tip backs, loose balls, deflections, the Tyson Chandler tip out. Because, I mean, his wingspan's ridiculous, man. 7'4". He's got like go gadget, elastic arms, man. Mr. Elastic out there, and his extended strides as well. The highlights from the last game, the second game when he was running in transition, like a gazelle. He was running the floor like a flash. Cliff D says, based on the roster, the Knicks season would be a failure if they don't get to the finals. Even without injuries in the East or West, this roster should be contending and no more excuses. Yeah, look, based on the current day, because we can't know what the future brings, but based on what we see today, we definitely need to be in the finals. It would be we would fall short if we don't get to the finals. But I think every season has a mind of its own, and I think we are going to see a team surprise like we always do. We'll see a team come out of the gate real quick. It could be Orlando. It could be Atlanta. I think watch out for Atlanta. If their young boys take a leap. If Kristaps Porzingis is healthy, we all know how dangerous he can be with Jalen Johnson, Risache, Trae Young spacing the floor out. Look, if y'all told me that Atlanta got up to a 15-5 start, I wouldn't be shocked. But I think we're going to be right there. We're going to be right there. If you told me that Boston are still going to be competitive, I wouldn't be shocked. They've still got Jaylen Brown. They've got Derek White, Peyton Pritchard. They've got a madman as a coach that's going to push them. I'm not going to sit here and say Boston's going to drop off heavy. But I do think that we are going to be the kings of the East, get through to the finals, fam. We have that seasoned playoff experience right now. That's the thing. Some of our guys didn't have that, that deep playoff run um, together like last season. And obviously with guys coming in, OG and Macau, and with Cat coming in for the second year, I think that's going to be big. Um, Now, the next thing we just really need to solidify is that 14th spot, fam, and we need to lock down an assistant, right? Is it going to be Marcus Smart? Are we going to wait for Brogdon, one of those buyouts, to take part? Maybe someone else? Russ, CP3, Ben Simmons? Um, but we are hearing a lot more buzz that Landry Shamet is open to returning, and the Knicks are keeping dialogue with him. But we have 2 more spots to fill on Mike Brown's staff, and I think one of those spots is going to go to this guy, former assistant out in Phoenix and the Kings, worked with Mikal Bridges in Phoenix, so I think Mike Brown's bringing him along. Darvin Ham can't come because he is not being allowed out of his contract with his team. I forget which team it is again. So Darvin Ham can't join, barring any unforeseen changes. It looks like James Borrego can't come either as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see who Mike Brown is going to get to be the associate head coach, fam. Right. Do they end up just saying, you know what, Rick Brunson, that demotion or whatever it's supposed to be, come on down again? I doubt that is going to happen. I do think they're going to bring in someone else, but I do find it very surprising that so many guys are coming back. You got Dice, Darren Erman, Mo Cheeks, Mark Bryant, Jordan Brink, Rick Brunson. So many guys are coming back. I kind of felt like might be just a couple, but that is what it is right there. Some good insight here from Dirty Dancer. Yeah, Fos was the player development coach at my alma mater, Arizona. What do you think then? I'm assuming you're on board. Were you cool with that appointment? And is he going to bring anything that we don't know yet to the table? So I do think the Knicks should add some ball handling with that final spot. And look, I'd be okay if it's Ben Simmons. My best case scenario would be Marcus Smart or a Brogdon. I mean, if it's CP3, I won't complain, but I don't think it's going to be Russ. If it's a guy like Landry Shamet, I won't be mad. I just don't know if that's the the best need we have right now. But look, man, we're talking about the 14th spot, 15th spot right now. I think just like Cliff said, man, when push comes to shove, no excuses, man. This team should get to the finals right now. I think it's good enough. Barring any unforeseen injuries, this squad in the East should be through to the Eastern Conference Finals again. Hopefully win the Atlantic Division and hang a banner up. Maybe we even get to Vegas and compete for the in-season tournament, man. We've made the quarterfinals 2 years running. We haven't been able to get to Vegas for the semi-finals of the in-season tournament. We have a very friendly group with Charlotte, the Raptors, we got Brooklyn, and we got Philadelphia, or Milwaukee, sorry, in the NBA Cup group. But we're focused, man, on the bigger things. We're focused on getting to the Eastern Conference Finals again, and then hopefully just having enough depth to get through to the finals, right? Yeah, maybe they did say to Russell, maybe they did say to Mike Brown, look, y'all got to keep some of these guys. I'm pretty sure with Rick Brunson that was the case, but look, I'm pretty sure if Mike Brown didn't want all of those guys back, I'm hopeful that he would have been able to have a say on not all of those guys returning. I mean, Dice I'm cool with. Mo Cheeks, I mean, he doesn't really do a whole lot, so it's not a major deal. But Darren Erman returning again, that's kind of a little surprising to me. He's more of a Tibbs guy. But look, it could be one of those things with Dolan saying, look, maybe a little bit of cost-saving exercise, maybe a little bit of to Leon saying, hey, look, this is on you. You extended Tibbs 1 year too soon. We had to pay him out and fire him less than 12 months later. So you're going to keep some of these guys, because it was a big decision, man. People talked about the decision from Dolan to keep, to get rid of Tibbs, or was it a Dolan intervened decision? But it was a situation where financially, there was a lot at stake, and Leon just extended him less than a year ago. So I think that is that goes against his record, if I'm being honest, right? I do think they extended Tibbs 12 months too soon. But look, Tibbs, if he came back with this better roster, I think it might have been enough to get us to the finals. I think Yabusele and Clarkson are significant upgrades, right? They're not starting quality players, but they're significant upgrades on what we had, right? They are really going to be able to have big nights and punish some of the NBA benches around the league. I mean, Yabusele can score 20 a night. Clarkson as well. So our bench scoring might go from, whatever it was, man, 5, 6, 8 points a game to 25 plus 35 points per game, coming off the bench. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah, I was thinking something similar with Darren Erman, but just based on some of the things I've heard in the past. But reputations, relationships, everything, it'll keep you in a job for a long time, if you've got good relationships too. Warra got extended minutes, so I'm happy about that tonight, fam. Hopefully we get to see more extended minutes, right? It's Pacome Dardier, and McCullough might be a bit iffy to go in the next one, fam. But it was the Tyler Kolek show tonight, and he bounced back in a major way, like a proud professional. Let's see if he can get on a roll. Let's see if he can keep this up, right, against a better Indiana opponent in the next one. Appreciate y'all for joining us tonight, everyone. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. You're keeping the Knicks streets buzzing. And we'll keep you up to date with all the breaking news. If the Knicks add a veteran soon, Mike Brown's staff gets filled out. 2 more games left in Summer League. So far, it's been a big tick for the likes of Hakporty, Diawara, and some flashes from McCullough and Dardier. Some intriguing skills from Dink Pate and Najee. And Kolek obviously had the highest expectations coming in. We are very hard on him because he was supposed to come in more ready. But it was a good bounce back today. But pleasantly surprised by Muhammad Diawara, man. I think even on a night like tonight with Tyler Kolek, I think Diawara can kind of steal the headlines. And we'll see what plays out with the next one, everyone. Take care. Big up, Lest. And see you on the next one, everyone. Thursday night against Indiana. Peace.